I have a study that's 27,000 people. It took those receiving gender affirming care as an adolescent, and then those who didn't receive it until they were an adult. And it found lower levels of suicidality and depression overall in the group that started gender affirming care as an adolescent. A long list of mental health conditions, all of which suicidality in and of itself, but then depression is also linked to an increase of suicidality. Anxiety is as well. So if it lowers all of these factors and suicidality itself, obviously it's saving lives. I think that gender affirming care for minors is good because all humans deserve access to healthcare, especially life-saving healthcare. I think trans kids are humans and gender affirming care is shown to be life-saving, so they deserve access.
How is that life-saving healthcare?
Sure. So gender affirming care is shown to reduce the outcomes of like suicidality, depression, anxiety even. So like there's a long list of mental health conditions, all of which suicidality in and of itself, but then depression is also linked to an increase of suicidality. Anxiety is as well. So if it lowers all of these factors and suicidality itself, obviously it's saving lives.
Usually with anything, you have to try everything before you try surgery.
Sure. The same is true with gender affirming care. You go to a doctor, you get weeks of therapy. You have to get a diagnosis. Like this is all something that works as like a process.
So do you know what hyperhidrosis is?
No, not specifically.
It's a medical condition that I have, but there's maybe like a handful of treatments for it.
Mm-hmm.
And, but like the last resort is surgery. And then there's people who got that surgery as minors, and there's some potentially bad side effects to the surgery. Mm-hmm. And they got the surgery though when they were minors, and, you know, their doctor said it was good. Their parents said it's good, you know, and then the doctors obviously like warned them of the, possible side effects, negative side effects, and then they experience those, and then they say it basically ruined their life.
Sure, and I think that's reasonable, and that's definitely why like informed consent is really important. But you also have to understand that like side effects like this are possible with any medicine, right? Like Tylenol, if you read like Tylenol, I think it's like it talks about how it can cause like kidney failure, or your liver to bleed, or whatever it might be. So even from medicines as mundane as Tylenol, and I think at least most people would say, like if your kid has a fever, give them Tylenol, you know, probably give them, I guess maybe not RFK Jr., but other people, you know.
But they have kid Tylenol.
So, kid Tylenol has the same risk. It's just lesser in terms of the degree, like the amount, I guess, of the drug that is in there. But no, mm-hmm. The point is it's about the risk benefit analysis, right? Like for any medicine, there's going to be a risk and there's going to be a benefit. And if the benefit outweighs the risk, then it's worth it. And I think for gender affirming care, the benefit far outweighs the risk.
Yeah, I would just think though, for me, like at least, you know, since I have experience with something different where I say I have a condition, mm-hmm. and the last thing you do after you've exhausted all other options is you get the surgery. But even then, I feel like I wouldn't want anyone getting it until they were of mind, you know, not a minor.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know enough about like that specific condition. I don't know how analogous it would be to gender affirming care though, because the problem with like where in that situation, I like, again, don't know the specifics, but it seems that you could wait and there probably wouldn't be that much of an effect. With gender affirming care, a lot of it is you want to stop the effects of puberty. So if you let those happen, then gender affirming care is going to do less for you because it's about gender dysphoria, which is where your gender identity doesn't match up with your physical traits. So going through puberty just makes that worse.
I mean, obviously we know like, yeah, maybe there's some like mental side effects to having this gender dysphoria. But like, I mean, physically, you know, as long as you don't kill yourself or whatever, like, you know, you don't need the surgery to survive.
Well, right? I mean, if you're talking about strictly physically, like your body's not going to deteriorate. But in terms of like I feel like that just kind of downplays the severity of mental health, right? And how that can affect you and your quality of life.
Well, yeah, well, I mean, I know I have things going on too, that affect mental health, but and like the one condition I was telling you, it's very difficult to grow up that way. Then I would say I would prefer that, just like a minor can't give consent for other things, they shouldn't be able to give consent for something that's going to alter their body.
Yeah, so I guess then the core disagreement there would just be I do think it's life-saving. I think the link to lowering suicidality and depression and things makes it pretty evident that it's kind of life-saving. I guess the question I would have then is, do you hold the same opinion about, like, I know like minors can get like a nose job, they could get, as weird as it is to say, you like a boob job or whatever. Are you against like that for minors also? Like even like obviously like teen beauty pageants and stuff, you think like even that they can't?
I just think, I prefer them to be not minors to, whatever it is. I know we just set an arbitrary age to it. Some people's brain develop faster than others or become more mature faster than others, but you have to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah.
But I would say the same thing. You could get a nose job and then regret it when you're 25 or whatever. Be like, shoot, I was so dumb when I was 16. Why did I think that would make my life so much better? I wish I was just natural or, something like that.
Yeah, I would say then, I mean, at least you're consistent. I think that you're at least genuinely holding the position if you hold it like for all people. I would just urge you, maybe look into some of the data and the kind of studies on the effects that gender affirming care has on lowering suicidality and stuff, because maybe that could be more convincing to you than, any argument laid forth.
Yeah, well, I just don't know enough about it. I mean, if that's the case, that's the case. If it's necessary life-saving surgery, well, then that's a whole other story.
Yeah, I mean, I could send you like big studies. I have a study that's 27,000 people. It took those receiving gender affirming care as an adolescent, and then those who didn't receive it until they were an adult, and it found lower levels of suicidality and depression overall in the group that started gender affirming care as an adolescent.